Life for All presents Daily Food Series Genesis, The Beginning. Title of Book 3, A River Went Out of Eden by Pedro. Week 2, A River Went Out of Eden to water the garden. Monday, Being Responsible in the House of the Lord. Read with prayer. Not so with my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. Numbers chapter 12, verse 7. This week's theme is A River Went Out of Eden to water the garden. God desires that man cooperate with his will in a practical and responsible way. This river that watered the garden symbolizes the life of God flowing through people who have simple hearts, love His Word, and allow themselves to be worked on by Him. Each one of us needs to prepare for the marriage supper of the Lamb by embroidering our own garments and going through the experience of the cross so that living water may indeed flow. God wants man to take responsibility and fulfill His will. When God created man, He entrusted him with the mission of being fruitful, multiplying, filling the earth, subduing it, and ruling over it. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. God is not pleased with irresponsible men. This means that, especially in His work, it is necessary to produce fruit. All of God's work requires administration, both in terms of the Word and in practical matters, to ensure its smooth running. We see Moses as a good example of a faithful servant. In Numbers chapter 12, we see the episode where his siblings, Aaron and Miriam, spoke against him. So they said, "Has God indeed spoken only through Moses? Has He not spoken through us also?" And the Lord heard it. Verse 2. The Lord intervened on Moses' behalf. Then the Lord came down in the pillar of cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both went forward. Then He said, "Hear now my words. If there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. I speak with him face to face, even plainly, and not in dark sayings. And he sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?" Verses 5 through 8. God Himself recognized Moses as being faithful in all his house. Numbers chapter 12, verse 7. This is what He expects from each one of us. This verse from Numbers chapter 12 is also mentioned in Hebrews chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. What does it mean to be faithful in the house of the Lord? It means to manage the house of the Lord well, according to His will. God needs servants who are faithful in His work. It is useless for a person to be faithful if he does not know how to do anything. You are faithful when you do what the Lord wants you to do. Being faithful is not theoretical, but it is practicing and fulfilling God's will. On the one hand, we need to know the Lord's heart. On the other, we must put His will into practice so that His work may be accomplished. Christ, as the Son of God, was faithful in the house of God, which is the church. He not only fulfilled the Father's heart's desire, but also carried it out. He came to earth as a man, died on the cross for us, and rose again. Therefore, a faithful servant carries out God's will. Thank God His work today has reached every continent, and he needs many faithful servants in his house. However, God can only use you after your natural abilities and capabilities have undergone death and resurrection. That is why we must be responsible. The Lord needs you very much. Let us produce for the Lord the fruit he desires, not the fruit of human and natural works, but fruit that abides in the vine. Only those who abide in him can produce this fruit for God.